Here we have Marvick. This is one of our engineers as well, who I think has been working now for, is it 3 months? Marvick, from the,
3 months plus, almost 4 months now.
oh, almost 4 months. So which means that
Yes.
you are gone past the probation period,
Oh yeah,
right?
I think so.
So you should have received at least how many paychecks now? Is it eight?
Somehow I have yeah. Yeah, somehow I can't even remember. It's you just
Okay.
jump into the bucket and then you just swim and you just forget
Yeah.
it. Just how far you've come. It just feels good at this point. So
Yeah, I know. And I can't wait to come in for your house warming. Like that should be the next thing you're thinking of. Like as soon as you
that's
go past, as soon as you go past the probation, you are good to buy a house.
of course. That's the plan, actually.
Okay, great, 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 great. This is a great time. I just thank God for how God is changing lives with this program, especially in our community, just again, proving what is possible because sometimes people are so doubting pharmacies always like that. Anyways, that's good. Thank you, Mike, for coming. Okay. I know it's just 3 months that you've been working, so I guess that the students are going to have more questions for you instead. Because what now you just got in, right? Now they want to hear you talk. You understand? So let's get going and let's see. Anyone has it's okay, that's what let's go ahead, tell them your background, where you come from, and how you got engaged with the program, what you are doing compared to what you studied in class. Let's just get going from there. So I'll take out myself from the spotlight and get you do your thing. Okay, thank you so much. And there we go.
Okay.
Uh,
Hi, everyone. My name is Marvick Tayo. I'm from Cameroon, of course. I grew up in Bamenda for those who know Cameroon. I've been in the United States for three plus years now, and prior to now, it was just up and down, trying to find my feet and um, kind of put myself on the right path to success and growth. And we all have dreams when we come out here, so it's always been trying to find the right thing that would actually align with whatever goals that you have to make sure that you stay on track and achieve your goals in the nearest future. I think I joined Lion Tech Academy probably in 2022. Can't remember. Yeah, I think it was 2022, and it was a recommendation by someone that I know and very close to and that I trust as well because there are so many people out there who would come to you or who would make flyers and claim that they can offer classes and they will train you on this and that. And after that, you would be qualified to take an interview and be able to handle a job. So you can find some of those out there and then you pay money and then you go through 6 months or 7 or 8 or a year and then you end up not feeling very qualified, or when once you pick up the phone to talk to a recruiter for an interview, you find yourself not being able to answer the questions that they're asking you. So I was very careful when I was finding a place that I could actually study as a DevOps engineer. I didn't have any prior tech background coming into DevOps. I had a computer maybe from 2016 that I've been using personally for just stuff, Microsoft and all of those things, Word and all of that. Nothing technical. I didn't know anything about Linux. I didn't know anything about the command line, how to use it to download or upload applications or whatever. I didn't know anything. I just knew I could format my computer and get it to work and use Microsoft Word to write documents and all of that. But once I joined Lion Tech Academy, it was very gradual. The fact that the pace, I would always say this, that when I came in, as much as I didn't have any tech background or computer background, I have some basic computer knowledge. So sometimes I would be in class and I have some people ask some questions and I would just smile. These are questions that when you come in, you're thinking, okay, I already know this. I don't expect somebody else to ask this question. It sounds very, but then the teacher would just smile and then answer everybody's questions. I'm just trying to say that everybody coming at so many different levels. People coming and they're novices. Some people don't even know how to turn on a computer, a laptop, all of that. And here, I found that they take it gradually from the very basics, gradually teach you all the tools and step by step. And before, so they start teaching you about one tool after the other. They tell you about SonarQube and Maven and all of that. And then after maybe 3 or 4 classes, you find out that, oh, you can actually bundle all these tools and make them work as one in an automation process. And then, so it's a step and a process that you understand what the basics are, the foundation and the formula, and then before you actually know how to package everything together. So they tell you what flour is, tell you what sugar is, tell you what salt is, and then at the end of the day, they tell you, okay, you can bundle all of this together and make a donut. So it was actually the gradual process that was very, very interesting to me. And going through the class and having a lot of support for those who are joining or those who are already part of the team. I'm sure you already know that there's like a 24-hour support system here where you get stuck anywhere. You can actually drop a chat or a screenshot or whatever, and somebody will reach out to you. That was also very helpful. And the fact that you have access to recorded classes and that you can always come back to and rewatch, which is what happened to me so many times. I had a very busy schedule at the time, so I couldn't actually attend all of those classes. So sometimes I have to come back and maybe just spend some time, an hour or two, to watch some of these classes and catch up. So when I catch up, I have to do my projects and all of that. And there is always the opportunity for you to call the teacher and say, hey, I'm stuck here. And he'll always get on call with you to see where you're stuck and try to sort it out with you. And again, there is no stupid question here. To answer every question, every question. Nobody would mock you, nobody laugh, or nobody expect you to know, because like I said, people come in here at different levels. Some people come in here with computer science degrees and they already know some certain things about computers, but others don't. So it was amazing to see how everybody joined and they were all moving at the same pace and following the course all through. And also the opportunity to have the boot camp after training. That was also very important, because I'm saying this because you don't, when you're attending the course here, you don't know how much you know until you have to take interviews. You don't know how much you know. Even when you take interviews and you're done and you start working, you would understand how much you learned through the process, and especially in the boot camp. Because now I'm sure for those who are just starting or about to start, it is going to feel a little bit overwhelming in the beginning when you start hearing about all these tools and you'll be wondering what is going on here. It just scattered everywhere. At some point, it can feel overwhelming. But trust me, after a month or two, like I said, you start understanding how you can put them all together to perform certain process, and you know what tool you can use to do whatever you need to do at a certain time. And like I said, the boot camp is very, 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 very important. It helps you, it builds you, because you get to work on projects. And this is how you answer interview questions when you start taking them. Because what they want to know is how you do a certain thing when you're faced with a certain problem. So they ask you a question. So what do you do if you need to access a Docker image and install a plugin or a dependency? What do you do? So you just need to tell them the command you run. And you cannot know this without doing a project. Sometimes you might be doing a project, you build a Docker image and you need to update it, you need to do something about it. And this is how you learn all through these things. And again, the course at Lion Tech Academy is broad, but at the same time, it is specific. So they bring everything to you. I think every tool that I studied here, once I started taking my interviews, and because I remember taking just like one complete interview, I always tell people that I spoke to a couple of recruiters, but I took just one interview. When I went past the recruiter, that was it. When I was in the interview room, when it was time for me to start asking questions, I find myself asking questions about things that the people who were interviewing me didn't actually really know about. Why? Because here I studied almost all the tools that they use in the field to do certain things. So I knew at least 2 tools that you can use to automate, at least 2 tools that you can use to monitor applications and infrastructure, all of those things. So you ask them about this, like, no, we don't use that here, but oh, that sounds good. You know how to do that. So they feel like you can actually come in and be an addition to the team more than just coming like any other person. So those are some of the things that I know that if you come into Lion Tech Academy, you come out with being very, very equipped to handle whatever tasks you have out there. As far as my own interview goes, I had at some point I had to take a 3 hours interview with 4 different people. I was nervous, I will tell you, going into that interview. But again, like I said, I was well equipped for this interview. Why? Because all through the process of the course and the boot camp, we did so many projects, and in the boot camp, there were so many different projects. So again, they always want to know, what do you do when you're faced with this? If you need to deploy this infrastructure, if you need to work on this, what do you do? And that time, it's not about you pulling your certificates to find out what it's about you telling them what you have done in a project because you're going in there telling them what you know. They need experience. They need people who know something. So you're just telling them how you use Maven and SonarQube and Tomcat and package it together to and maybe integrate them with Jenkins to automate a certain process. Or they just want to know how do you do a pull request. You cannot just say that by reading notes. You have to have practice, because sometimes when you're doing a pull request, you run into issues. You might do a pull request and your paper, probably your local, is not updated with what is in your remote repository. You have to maybe do a git rebase and all of those things, and you cannot read notes and find all these things there. That's why I'm just trying to add to the question of certifications and all of that. Those things don't really matter if you don't know what you're talking about. Talking from a personal experience, one of the people who had to interview me during my process came into the room with my resume. He went line after line asking me questions, line after line. So at some point, halfway through my resume, he was like, okay, let's just keep this one aside, because I see that you know everything's there on your resume. And because I know a lot of people come here with so many things on their resume and they don't know anything to talk about. Why? Because people put so many certifications there, AWS architect, these certifications. All of those things might just make recruiters call you, but you get in trouble when you start taking those interviews because they want to know. This guy he took my resume. Okay, you say you do this. Can you explain that to me? And then I will explain and explain. Halfway through it, he just like, okay, let's keep this aside, move on to other things. Because he realized that I know what is on my resume because I have practiced it. So that is very, very important. Here, it's about your experience, it's about what you know, and it's not about certifications or whatever. In my environment, for example, we use Kanban. So those are some of the things that you learn here too. You learn about the different agile methodologies that are used to manage maybe the software development life cycle. Different teams use so many different things, different methodologies or agile methodologies to manage their software development. And I'm going to tell you, it feels more overwhelming and tense taking this course than actually having a job. The job is something else. In my environment, for example, like I said, we use Kanban. We have like a 15 minutes daily stand up every morning at 11 a.m. just to sync. And it's not a meeting where people will come and ask you, why haven't you done this or that? They just want to know what you're up to. What are you going to be doing today? Or I'm going to be working on this and that and that. And I joined a team where that is trying to move a little bit into Scrum. And I came with some background in Scrum. So it gives me the opportunity to take my time to do certain things. So we have a Kanban board where we have a lot of tickets on there. I came in listening to Joy talk about tickets that she does, and then they have a sprint. We don't have a sprint. We just do things quarterly, which means I might pick up a ticket and work on it for 2 weeks. And some of these tickets are exploratory. I think the very first ticket that I got when I joined my team was to build a Jenkins job or any automation job that could update or dock up images once a month. This is something that nobody on my team knows how to do, knows what to do about it. So they give me the time. So if I do my research and find out I could do this thing in 3 days or a week, I'm still working on that ticket, as I'm telling you. But that's something I could have finished a long time ago. I've done the process. I've tested my script. It actually works. But every day when I go there, I just tell them, okay, I did this at this point. I'm just working on this. It just gives you the freedom to do the certain things and to research and all of that. So different teams have different processes, and then they have the environment and the culture are different. The culture and my environment is how do I put it? There's some sort of freedom and independence that they give you because they want you to be able to be productive. So they believe that if they give you the time to do your research and everything. So when I get a ticket, they just ask me, what do you think we need to do on this? I'll just explain. I'll say, oh, I don't really know this because I haven't really worked on something like this in a while. So I need some time to research it. Okay, go on and research. So these are things that you would understand when you start working on the job. Nobody that I have come across in the field working for 3 months plus actually know everything. So I work in a hybrid setting. I get to go to the office twice a week, Wednesdays and Thursdays. So these are days that I actually meet a lot of people who work in different teams or different DevOps engineers. Sometimes I just walk up to them and then ask them a question. Okay, because they tell you, okay, if you have any issues, come to me. So sometimes I might get stuck somewhere. I just have a question to ask them. Can you just tell me about this? And like, oh, I don't really know. And this is somebody who's been in the company for 7 years. So you find out that when you come in, you just have to be able to focus on what you're working on at the time, research on it, work on it, and deliver. When you move to the next ticket, you research it and work on it and you deliver. That's how you learn through the process. Because I've had tickets where I have issues and I'm stuck on, and there's nobody who can help me. I have my team lead. I look up to her as the master. She knows almost, she's good. She has a lot of experience. She has a map of the infrastructure, the company infrastructure in her head. But there's so many questions I've been able to ask her. She's like, I don't really know, Marvick. Can you actually just research a little bit about it? And that's it. So that gives me another 1 week to start working on it. And especially on days that I'm working from home, Mondays or Tuesdays or Fridays, it's like a free day for me. I just attend my meetings, and after that, I just look at the tickets I'm working on. Do I have to do a research? Do I have to try seeing if I can troubleshoot something, or maybe bypass a blocker that I have, or maybe just to chat to somebody to see if I need help on something. So it's like that. So trust me, if you're going through this course and it feels overwhelming or intense, or like, just manage, push through, ask all the questions that you need, understand what it takes, because that's all you need to answer those interview questions. Understand what it takes to go through a certain process. When you understand what it takes, tell them you know what it takes and how to do it, how to build an automation pipeline using Jenkins, and how to integrate testing tools and all of that, how to push to a GitHub repository or Bitbucket and all of that, how to use a Terraform to deploy infrastructure and all of that. This is just what they need to know. They need to know how to. It's not about your certifications. My background, I have a background in journalism and mass communication. That has nothing to do with tech. It has nothing to do with DevOps engineering. And I told them, this is what I have. What they want to know, sometimes it's okay, so how did you get into DevOps? Of course, just tell them what brought you here. I've always been interested in tech, and I told them. So gradually along the way, while doing other things, I've been studying, taking courses, and trying to study and working on projects and all of that. And then finally, I got this opportunity, and I'm really looking forward to working with you as a great team to build my career and also contribute to the team. And that's it. They're excited. You're driven. You're enthusiastic. You've always loved the field. That's what they want to know. So do not worry about certificates that you have, because they want to know if you can actually do the process. It's not what you have as credentials. Because I joined my team, and then 2 weeks later, they gave me access to the company's LinkedIn Learning account. And when I was reading through, they can't see what you're learning. They don't know the courses that you sign up for. They just know that you have access to this account, and that's it. So whatever I choose to learn on, but that's a free platform where I can decide to learn any other thing that I want, whether I want to have certification in anything else, or want to have an extra AWS certificate. I want to become an AWS architect and all of those things. So you always have these benefits that come in when you actually start working and you actually get a job. So what I'm trying to say at the end of the day is, just if you're joining, focus on learning what you're being taught here. Try to do the projects, discuss that, because that's how you get the experience, and that's how you're able to tell them the story when they start asking you questions. You're able to actually teach them when they start asking you questions. And then the rest, trust me, is just going to be history at some point. Like I'm saying now, 3 months, 3 months later.
Okay, great. I want to add one thing to what you said about and this is the first time I'm learning that I knew that you came from a non-tech background, but I never knew that you were coming from journalism and mass communications. This is new to me at the moment, but I'm so glad about that. And I want to tell you why being real and being honest with yourself, in fact, it goes a long way to sell your credibility and sell your personality with these people. When you tell them where you're coming from, they believe you, right? And because again, it goes a long way to fit in their company's culture of diversity and giving everybody a chance. So if you come and say, no, come in, I went to school, I have a bachelor's of technology, I have a this, I have a that, I have a that. Now, okay, but this one may come here and become a boss. You understand what I'm saying? I want to be using all this big grammar to intimidate us here. But when you come from this humble background, they kind of get to know you even more exactly. They get to know you more, and that's what makes them feel comfortable. Oh, you know what? This one is going to fit in our company's culture of continuous learning. Now, overall, people who come into anything new from a very diverse background have this continuous mindset to learn more. People who think that they were born into it, they don't care about what's new out there. You understand? And tech is all about new ticket, something new must be learned. You understand? New ticket, new learning, new research. New ticket, new learning, new research. So somebody like you coming from this background and having this push on learning, that's what they're looking out for, right? People who can pick up a tick and go out there and do research, go to YouTube, or even now it's even made easy with AI. If you ask AI any kind of question now, AI is able to give you guidance. It's guide to not answer. They give you guides, which is good because it narrows down your search to exactly what you're looking for, as opposed to Google. You put on Google now, who is the president of Nigeria? They will show you all the past presidents of Nigeria. But if you just ask AI, who is the president of Nigeria now, they will tell you this person when the person took over. Like I'm saying, and all of that. So this is so good. It goes a long way. I'm so happy, and I'm sure that most of people here who are coming from non-tech backgrounds also are so encouraged hearing that you're coming from mass communication and journalism. So let me see if anyone else has, but hold on there, Marvick, hold on there. I want to add Babylon to this spotlight. And the reason I want to do that is because